OK, well, let's have a look in depth at what we can expect from the G20 meeting with the help of Charles Dumas. He is Director and Head of International Research at Lombard Street Research. Thank you very much for joining us today. If we just take a look, first of all, the kind of overview of the G20, is it going to be dominated by China's spat with the US, and is that going to overshadow everything else?
Absolutely it is, and so it should be. The Chinese problem is that they thought they could get all the benefits of locking their currency into the United States without understanding that when you get into bed with an elephant and it rolls on top of you, it actually is quite uncomfortable. And now they're getting the inflation. The Americans are under no obligation to consider China's interests because China shouldn't have locked its currency in. So what have we got? Well, 4.4%. You saw it on the screens, 10.1%. The quantitative easing is counterproductive as far as the United States is concerned, but when it comes to putting pressure on China, it's just exactly the right medicine because it's giving them the inflation which they need in order to rectify their undervaluation. And they've now got a very difficult choice, which is to swallow their words and adopt the much less painful route of raising their currency, or to accept inflation, which is extremely destabilizing in China. And I'm bound to say that I personally think it's quite a good situation in a funny kind of way, because the Chinese can give some ground on the currency, which I think they will, by the way. I think there's at least an even chance they'll make a 5% move at the end of G20 in a sort of last-minute friendly gesture, ho, ho, ho. And they'll get something back for that, when in fact what they're doing is adopting what is for them, in any case, the better policy.
And what do you think they'll get back? What are they asking for?
Well, I mean, China wants so many things that there are hundreds of things they can want. They want recognition and importance in the IMF. They want all kinds of things in terms of people's attitude and behaviour towards Taiwan, towards Tibet, towards dissidents in China, etc. There are lots of things they can ask for.
Sure. That's a very interesting take on it. Do you think then that the other emerging nations won't really have much of a voice? They're not able to speak as cohesively, perhaps, as they might if they were to have a little more of a voice on their devaluation woes?
They're all just basically barking up the wrong tree. They keep talking about the Americans devaluing. Yeah. Well, of course the Americans need to devalue. America is overvalued. It needs to devalue and have a tighter fiscal policy. But because the Chinese have locked in this exchange rate with the Yuan, the other guys have to take all the pressure. Well, you know, they should go and talk to their friend in Beijing.
Now, before you go, I'd like to ask you about Ireland. Ireland has been a very good European, that's what its politicians say, and it's been trying very hard. But there's a fat lot of good it's doing it right now.
Yeah, quite, absolutely. Well, I mean, when you make a mistake and persist with it for 10 years, the price is huge. The Irish went into this in a very strong position. They had no net government debt. They had 1/3 higher income per head than Britain, France and Germany, and yet now they're in this desperate trouble, and GDP is down by 17% in nominal terms in Ireland, which is even more than the real GDP, because of course they have deflation as well. And so what does that mean? Well, it means that the denominator in those famous ratios of deficit and debt is sliding away from them. Meantime, they've got a deficit, so the debt ratio, the actual volume of debt in euros is going up, the value of GDP in euros is going down, because they've done what they were told. Of course, if the Spanish and the Greeks and the Portuguese did the same, it'd be a total catastrophe for the European economy. And it, you know, to a large extent, it probably will be, yes.
OK, Charles, thank you very much indeed for that.